Hi, everyone. I hope you had a great spring break, and I hope this finds you well. I'm going to go over today with you what it means to write the Great Gatsby essay, which we'll be doing on Sunday. So I'm going to begin by sharing my screen with you. And you should see now Google Classroom. And if you have made it to Google Classroom, that's where you found the link to this video. The first thing that it tells you to do is to go to the Classwork tab. And in the Classwork tab under the Great Gatsby essay, if you open it up, you're going to see three different documents. You'll see the essay prompt, you'll see a place to write your essay, and you'll also see the rubric that you'll be scored with. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open up the essay prompt. And you'll notice at the top of the essay prompt, it has the due date. So this essay will be due on Sunday by 11:59 p.m. to turnitin.com, as well as to Google Classroom. The prompt I'm going to read through with you starts here. And it says, throughout the Great Gatsby, many characters behave in destructive and self-destructive ways. Often they do not consider the consequences of their reckless actions. Identify the two most destructive and/or self-destructive characters in the book. Provide examples of the character's behavior that is destructive or self-destructive. Explain what motivates his or her behavior. Evaluate whether his or her behavior is justifiable or understandable. Why or why not? In conclusion, comment on what Fitzgerald seems to suggest about society in the 1920s through the character's behavior, and make a global statement about the destructive and/or self-destructive behavior of people in today's society. The essay itself needs to be 4 body paragraphs. So we have that here. You're going to have an introduction, you're going to have 2 body paragraphs, and you'll have a conclusion. All of your evidence needs to be direct quotations, not paraphrases, and you will need 4 pieces of evidence total from the book. You also need to use correct citation format, which means you use the author's last name and then the page number. In this case, the page will be 46. You also will type your final draft of your essay on a Google Doc, and you will submit your final draft to turnitin.com. To help you understand what the prompt, all about the prompt, and to write your essay, I've given you several resources. First of all, a completed do-what chart. Instead of having you fill out the do-what chart, I wanted to make sure that you understood exactly what was expected of you. And so I took all of the information from this prompt here, chose the active verbs, and figured out what the prompt was asking us to do. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to figure out 2 characters to write about. You'll have 1 body paragraph on one character and 1 body paragraph on another. So first you'll identify the 2 most destructive and/or self-destructive characters in the book. So you might pick Tom Buchanan and Daisy Buchanan, or Myrtle Wilson and Tom Buchanan, or Myrtle Wilson and Daisy Buchanan, or 2 other characters. For each of those characters, you're going to need to write some evidence sentences. You'll have to have 2 evidence sentences per character, and you'll have to show evidence that provide examples that the character is destructive or self-destructive. For each of those examples, you will have 2 pieces of analysis. First, you have to explain what motivates his or her behavior. Second, you need to evaluate whether the behavior is justifiable or understandable in that circumstance, and tell us why or why not. This might sound a little bit familiar, the finding of examples and evaluating and explaining those examples. That's because prior to break, we had you do an assignment. I'll take you to the assignment now. You guys had to do a close reading of Myrtle Wilson and Tom Buchanan. And the directions for this assignment was to read the excerpts below from The Great Gatsby and to highlight evidence that showed that both Myrtle Wilson and Tom Buchanan were destructive or self-destructive characters. Then, on the right-hand margin, I asked you to first write what motivates his or her behavior, and then explain whether the behavior was justifiable or not in that circumstance. If you go back to the essay prompt, you'll see that that's exactly what you were asked to do here. First, provide examples of the behavior was destructive or self-destructive. So that was the highlighting portion of it. And then A was to explain what motivates the behavior, and B was to evaluate that behavior. In order to help you with getting this essay complete, what I did was over the weekend, you should have received, or over the break, you should have received an email from me with this assignment if you completed this assignment. When we did it in class, you, on this side of the left-hand side of the margin, you labeled self-destructive or destructive behavior. Here, you highlighted that behavior. And then over here, you wrote A, if it was what motivated them, and B, what justified their behavior. Sorry, what explained whether or not, sorry, you explained whether the behavior was justifiable or not in that circumstance. It's a 5-page document, you'll see. And those of you who turned it in, and there were most of you who did, I scanned those and sent them to you in a personal email. So you should have those in your inbox. If you didn't turn it in, you probably have it in your notebook. And you can still turn it in as long as you get it into me this week. You would just need to take a picture of all 5 pages and send it to me through an email. But back to the prompt. So now that you know what you're supposed to do, I've provided the second thing on the list is an essay outline. And on the very last page, you'll find a whole bunch of sentence frames to help you write your subclaims, your analysis sentences, and concluding sentences. So let's go to the essay outline. The essay outline is split into 4 different boxes for the 4 different paragraphs. So your introduction includes a grabber, a bridge, and a thesis. You'll need to write your thesis statement completely on your own, but this is all the material that should be included in the thesis statement. Your title, italicized, the author's name, the character's first and last names, so 2 characters' first and last names, the type of behavior that they use, and whether it was justified or not. Body paragraph number 1 will be about 1 character, and you'll notice we have a subclaim. You also have 2 pieces of evidence here, and for each piece of evidence, 2 sentences of analysis. What I've done is I've taken everything on the do-what chart and explain what you will do in what order. So first you'd explain have an evidence sentence with an example of their destructive behavior, then you would explain what motivates it, and then you'd explain if it's justifiable or not. To help you with writing your subclaim and your analysis and your concluding sentence, all you do is you scroll to the very, very bottom, and you'll see that there are sentence frames that will help you with writing a subclaim, analysis, as well as concluding sentences. So just choose some that you think would work best in the circumstance of what you're writing about. So the 4th paragraph is going to be your conclusion. That's where you're going to wrap up your essay, and you're going to make sure that you comment on what Fitzgerald seems to suggest about society in the 1920s through the character's behavior. And you're also going to make a global statement about the destructive and/or self-destructive behavior of people in today's society. So once you've completely filled out this template, what you're going to do is then you're going to go back to Google Classroom, to the classwork category, and you'll click on this Gatsby essay. The Gatsby essay template is provided here, and all you have to do is you have to go up and you have to change the header, which just change it to your last name. And then in the body of the essay, you've got to change your first and last name. You need to add my name for teacher in the block, and then you can begin typing your essay here. You, of course, would begin with whatever your grabber is, and then you would go from there. Now, the next step that you would do after you type your essay is you're going to use Grammarly to help you edit your essay. So you will take your essay and you'll plug it into Grammarly and make sure that everything is changed and fixed. Then step 5 would be to share your essay with a friend or a parent or a sibling that you trust. Have them read through the essay and give it one more look through, because we all know that it's difficult to spot our own mistakes. Then step 6 is go ahead and run it through Grammarly one more time after you've made some changes and edits, just to make sure. And the last step, step 7, would be to turn your essay in to turnitin.com. Again, make sure that it's turned in by 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, 4/19. So you have 1 week to complete this assignment. And we will be meeting virtually on Thursday, this coming Thursday at 12 p.m. We will meet every Thursday at 12, and we can meet for up to an hour. During that time, I'll provide some direct instruction to you, but then I also will provide or answer any questions that you have at that time. In the meantime, if you have any questions about your essay, feel free to email me or leave a comment on the stream here, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I hope you have a nice day. I'm going to go ahead and end the sharing portion and finish our recording. Bye. See you soon.